Hi Peaches, it's Shaaba. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. It's Monday and you know what that means. It is time for us to deep dive into the a-holes. Oh, why? Because it's a little bit of fun, it's a little bit of GC drama. We can hopefully help a couple people out whilst expanding our own mindsets along the way. What's not to love? Grab a cuppa, settle down. I am feeling a little bit spicy, I must warn you. Are you seeing this too? For me? Oh. The surf shark, the witch, and the wardrobe? Okay. Once upon a time, there was a wardrobe that connected me to the magical world of the internet. But an evil witch lured me in with a 50% off Turkish Delight online sale and tried to steal all my data? Luckily, Surfshark VPN came to the rescue with its clean web feature, blocked the White Witch's ads, trackers, malware, and phishing attempts. And provided me with a bigger wardrobe that unlocked the magical worlds of content libraries that I wouldn't otherwise be able to access from my country so that I can watch my favorite shows no matter where I am. Good job, Surfshark. Oh, there's more. Surfshark captured the White Witch, gave her a badge that said she was totally the drama, and then proclaimed to the world that with Surfshark VPN, you too can keep your online identity safe by swapping the real location of your device with a new one around the world, and that you can use this link, surfshark.deals/Shaaba, or scan this sexy little QR code and use my code Shaaba to get 4 months free with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so it's totally risk-free at the end. Groovy. Thanks, Surfshark. And now, let's go fishing for some a-holes. Whoop. Am I the drama for using part of my brother-in-law's wedding as proof that my sister-in-law hates me? Whoa. We have started spicy today. I'm a 31-year-old woman, says OP, and I'm a florist with professional certifications and a degree in botany. Fancy. My brother-in-law, who's 27, is getting married, and my sister-in-law, 45, and cousin-in-law, 37, were in charge of decorations, including flowers. Is the sister-in-law the person getting married to the brother-in-law? Like, is that the bride? No, because reading on it says the bride-to-be did suggest having me do the flowers. Okay, so there is a sister-in-law and there is a cousin-in-law, and they have been tasked with doing floral decor for the wedding. I hear you, I see you. Okay, sister-in-law and cousin-in-law went to a different location of the shop that I work for the flowers. Oh, so they went to your shop, but not to you? Am I getting that right? I've been telling my husband, who's 33, the entire 13 years that we've been together, that his sister and cousin hate me and don't want us together, and he denies it. When I pointed out that this is proof that they hate me because they went to the same company and paid more rather than letting me do the flowers, which would have been discounted, he said that I was being an arsehole and making my brother-in-law's wedding all about me. So, am I the drama here? Okay, wait, whoa. 1, this was really short. 2, when I heard that you were using your brother-in-law's wedding as proof that your sister-in-law hated you, I was expecting some big plot. I was expecting some like Sherlock Holmes, like some scripted salsa dance to be like, and then they did this, and so I trapped them, and then I recorded and see, like at the wedding. But really what you're saying is they didn't buy flowers from you, and they should have done because it would have helped them and also been a nice thing for you to contribute, right? And also respecting the bride's wishes because she has asked for you. My whole point being, I was ready to say that you were totally the drama, but there isn't some big elaborate plot. You're just feeling hurt that they didn't come to you when you expected them to, when the bride wanted you to, and when it would have made sense for them to, because you would have given them some form of discount, right? I'm kind of inclined to say no drama here. Context is everything, and I feel like without hearing anything more about the sister-in-law and the cousin-in-law, like, how is it that they hate you? You're saying that for 13 years they've hated you. Clearly there's something that's happened, right, to make you feel this way, more so than just this incident. Hang on, no, wait, totally just forgot. You made a big deal of saying that you are a florist, right, and a botanist. You've got a degree, you have professional florist certifications. It is weird that they didn't come to you, especially considering the proximity and especially considering the bride. Okay, not the drama. That is my bad. I was thinking, maybe there is a world, right, in which you have a conversation, and that's really the healthy thing to do in this situation. Again, context dependent. If nothing further has happened that's made you feel uncomfortable or unsafe to approach sister-in-law and cousin-in-law about how you're feeling, then you could say, hey, I'm feeling some kind of way. This was literally my perfect job. It's something that I really wanted to do for bride. Is there a reason that you didn't come to me? Because in many ways this would have benefited you. It kind of feels odd that you haven't come to me, and then then maybe they would have some reason. A reason that is not comprehensible to me right now. Maybe on the day they were like, oh, I don't want you stressing about flowers. I wanted you to have a good time. Or maybe they wanted something really specific, like to decide something specific, or got like a super discount somewhere else. Not with you, but then it's within the same store, so you would have known about that. Yeah, it just seems a little bit shady. I feel like the right thing to do would be to have a conversation, and I'm really curious to see what else they have done. I wonder if OP said anything. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you agree, Peaches? Let me know. Not the drama, says one commenter. First of all, you didn't use your brother-in-law's wedding as proof for anything. Yes, this, very much this. I was so ready for like a big spicy moment. This is still sad. I'm sorry for you, OP, but it's less spicy. I'm glad that it's less spicy because it means that you're not being a total butthole. It's not like you set up an elaborate plan to catch them doing something. This person is in my brain. They did an obviously petty thing, and it's reasonable to be annoyed. As long as you're not wandering around the wedding complaining, then I don't see what the issue is that your husband has. Yes, okay, I definitely feel like the husband is being a bit of a poop here for being like, making the wedding about you. Like, come on. This is hardly a guestzilla moment. If you went to the bride and moaned to them without speaking to cousin and sister-in-law, and then was, you know, like saying things like, oh, and I don't think you should invite them, or saying things like, I'm not going to come because I don't feel comfortable, then I can understand why it would then be about you. But that doesn't sound like it's what's happening here. Ooh, someone said we can't state that he is from this one example, to be honest. That's just a stretch. And OP has responded. Maybe this provides a context that we need. He's the only one that I've brought this up to. So you're totally not the drama. You're totally not using this to make the wedding about yourself. Don't listen to that drama. His cousin and sister don't like me because I'm a different race and religion to them, and I wasn't born in America. Whoa! My POC did not see this coming. They've tried setting him up with other women from their church. Well, there's your answer then. I can now totally see why you don't feel safe bringing this up with them directly. You are totally not the drama. Boom. And I'm sorry to say it, but I don't think it's just cousin and sister-in-law. I also think that this is your husband being a little bit dramatic. He's being the drama. I don't understand why. Especially if it's to do with your identity. That's such a touchy subject, and he should be aware of the loaded history that you have. And like, this is quite an obvious example of somebody trying to exclude you. I'm annoyed that this context wasn't in the original post, but I'm glad that we get to see it now. And I'm hoping, OP, that you're taking a look at these responses, listening to our replies, and standing up for yourself, because this is not okay. You don't deserve to be treated this way, lesser than, especially for something that the bride wanted you to do, you know? And what's annoying me the most about this is not the cousin and sister. I mean, yes, that's very annoying, and yes, that's really sad, and just give me an address. No, I don't condone violence. My point is, like, it's annoying to hear, but what's particularly annoying to hear, what's really making me hurt for you, OP, is the fact that your husband, instead of being like, oh wow, I can see how this must really hurt, and thank you for feeling like I am the only one who you can bring this up to, but instead of doing that, he's just been like, oh, drama queen, how dare you make this event about yourself. It's probably coming from a place of, one, not wanting the confrontation, and two, not wanting the additional consequences that comes from standing up for you. But I just think that's a really cowardish move, you know? If in the 13 years that you've been together, this is something that is still a problem, that he has not been able to shut down with his side of the family, because that's not something that you can do alone. I don't know. That's the opposite of a brownie badge. That's a moldy brownie for your husband, who should absolutely be supporting you a lot better. You are a team. You are a team. I'm sad for you. I'm sad for you, and I hope you get the support that you need, and I hope your husband steps on Lego and then sees the light to do the right thing, because this is certainly not it. Ooh, okay. Was that particularly spicy? I don't know. I think I'm underplaying the spiciness because I thought it was going to be significantly more spicy. Let's see where this episode goes. I'm already feeling like it's quite chaotic. I'm sorry. Am I the drama for not making my husband breakfast? Is this an episode of just questionable husbands? Because that's the vibe that I'm getting. All right, the last few months, says OP, I have made a concerted effort. I've momentarily forgotten what concerted means. Is that like specific effort? Because for some reason conceited is in my mind, and that's a very different word. Concerted, arranged, carried out, coordinated. Like you are intentional with your efforts. Okay, what are you being intentional on? Concerted effort to make more meals at home. We eat out a lot to save money and be healthier. Oh, I was not ready for the call out in this video. I see you, OP. I feel you, OP. I too have concerns that it's so easy sometimes to slip into, oh, let's just get a takeaway. Oh, let's just do a ready meal. And it's not good because we need vegetables, and also it's not good for the wallet, you know? So I feel you. I'm with you on your effort. Rah! Okay. I rarely ask my husband to help with making dinner, and I do most, but not all, of the dishes after we eat. Okay, so I'm hearing that you do like a lot of the chores. For the last 9 days in a row, I've made dinner at home, and I've also made lunches and breakfast for 3 to 4 of those days. Well done, you. All meals have been made solely by me. I would say conservatively 80% of the dishes and cleanup has been by me as well. Okay, 1, well done, you. 2, I'm hearing the bitterness, just the tiniest little hunch that maybe you're a little bit upset that you're doing the majority of the work. And we just said it, relationships are about being a team. It sounds like maybe this isn't happening. Let's see where it goes. This morning, says OP, I made breakfast for myself. 1 egg, a piece of toast, and a cup of coffee. There was only 1 egg left. Interesting. So for the first time in 10 days, I made a basic meal for myself and not my husband. Ooh, interesting. There's plenty of other food. He could have made a bowl of cereal. He could have made himself a cup of coffee. It really didn't seem like a big deal to me. Whoa. So there was 1 egg left and toast and coffee, and you could have made not egg. You could have made cereal for both of you. You could have made toast for both of you. You could have made coffee for both of you, but you decided to do egg, toast, and coffee for you, and you didn't even make toast or coffee for your husband. Don't you dare, Peaches, I see you, don't you dare clip this out of context. I'm like, how dare you not make breakfast for your husband? The reason that I'm like questioning, like, you don't have to make breakfast for anyone. It's your autonomy, I get it. However, you're saying you're making an effort to do this. You have established a pattern, right, where you are the one that's making the meals, and it sounds like before this happened where you made breakfast for yourself, you didn't communicate to your husband. It's not been written here that you have communicated to be like, I am feeling some kind of way that I am doing all of this, you know? So we'll read on. If this is what has caused the issue, it kind of feels a little bit unfair that on this moment you've been like, well, I'm asserting the boundary where I'm doing this, and I've not told you, and I could have even brought you toast and coffee, but I've literally not done anything, and I'm blaming it on the fact that there's 1 egg. It sounds a little bit funny. It sounds like to me what's happening is you're done, and you're like, for God's sakes, I'm doing all the work. I don't want to do it. I didn't want to do it, but I don't want to do it. My point being, call a spade a spade. Call an egg an egg. You don't want to do it, say you don't want to do it. Don't blame on the fact that there's only 1 egg. Just being very honest here with my opinion, I would appreciate the truth, and it feels like maybe this isn't the entire truth. But let's read on. OP says it really didn't seem like a big deal to me. When I picked up my plate and cup to carry it back to the office, my husband was standing looking at me in a manner to imply, where's mine? It was in a joking manner on his part, and I said something to the effect of, hey, I've been making all of the meals for the last however many days. You haven't made me anything. I don't have to make you breakfast. Again, it was light air, at least so I thought, and he was blocking my way to the office, so I asked him to move. The end. Wait. I just need to understand. You have home offices. You seem to be working at home. He was blocking the door to your office, because that's a major red flag to me. If he was blocking the door to be like, make me breakfast, wife, no. Big no. However, you're saying it was light air. But then the other way to interpret this is it was light air and he was like, where's my breakfast? And he was in the way, and then you asked him to move and he moved and you went into your office at the end. I'm going to assume it's that second one, but let's keep that in mind as we read on. Oh, this is getting spicy. This is getting a bit Detective Poirot here. Where's my glass? Onion, let's go. Later, I left my office and found my husband in his office with Starbucks. Oh. Whenever I see these things, I envisage myself in these scenarios, and I can so see this being me and Jamie. Me being like, well, I don't need to make you breakfast. I'll have my egg. And then coming back and seeing Jamie with Starbucks and being like, you dick. Okay, let's read. He grinned at me. He knows he's been cheeky. I had no idea he'd even left the house. Maybe he didn't. We do live in the world of Deliveroo and just like delivery services generally, but perhaps he did go out. Okay, I told him it was bullshit that he intentionally left the house without telling me and got Starbucks without asking me if I wanted something. I didn't, but that's not the point. He was clearly trying to get back at me somehow. It wasn't a huge fight. The exchange lasted maybe 30 seconds, but from my point of view, he went out of his way to one-up me because I dared not to make him breakfast. From his point of view, I taunted him about I have breakfast and you don't. Okay, you know what? For a 30-second conversation, this feels really healthy. Why are you saying this, Shaaba? Are you delulu, Shaaba? I see the points that you're making. Hear me out. You have both communicated where you have come from, and you understand, and he understands where you are both coming from. And that is a really important place to be. In the moment when the issue happened, he was upset because he felt like you were taunting him, and he reacted in that way where he was then like, like, you know what? Frick it. I'm gonna go get myself a Beyond Meat sandwich, which is my favorite thing from Starbucks. So shout out to that beautiful little sandwich. But that's not the point we're making. The point that we're making is he was just like, so I'm gonna get myself something because you didn't make me something, and there is no egg, which is, I assume, what he was wanting in that moment, or feeling hurt that he didn't have but you did have, right? At the same time, you have now come in and took that differently. He is saying that I didn't do it to one-up you. He's doing that from a place of hurt, and you've taken it from a place of, oh, well, it's because I didn't make it for him that he's now gone and done something that I've tried really hard not to do. Look, this happens, all right? We are not perfect people. We can get annoyed, we can feel some kind of way, we can not communicate, and then we can do things that piss people off or rub them up the wrong way. But the important point here is that you understand where each other's coming from, and neither of you are doing things because you're intentionally trying to hurt the other. It's so important to me to understand why our loved ones do things, because our loved ones aren't just assholes to us to be assholes to us, you know? It's important to understand that origin story. All right, let's read on before we pass our judgment. He came into my office around lunch to ask what I wanted to do for lunch. I was expecting an apology and I didn't get one because it was a 30-second chat. Okay, I've been going out of my way for him to make sure that we eat home-cooked meals without asking or even expecting help. I will stop you there. Yes, you have not asked. You kind of have been expecting the help though, right? Again, totally fine. I too would expect help. If I'm cooking for both of us, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then you better help me in some way. I, for example, do the cooking. Jamie does the cleaning. Teamwork. That's how we work. Not everybody does it that way, but it makes sense to, you know, share the load in some capacity. So I can get why you're upset, but like, you were expecting help and you should be honest about expecting help. We read on. I do all the meal planning, shopping, and cooking, and the vast majority of the dirty dishes, and I don't feel like I have to make him any food ever for any reason. I'm not his mum. Yes, no, you're so right. You are not his mum. Absolutely. I feel like I'm judging OP here more than I'm judging the husband, which isn't the case. Like, if that's how it's coming across, that's not what I mean, and that's not where my intentions are. I'm seeing that the husband did a bad thing. I'm also seeing where husband's bad thing came from. I'm also seeing that you did a bad thing by not cooking and not communicating, right? You should have said beforehand, you're acting from a place of resentment, of anger, but you've not told your husband that you're angry about it, so how is he to know to help you, you know? And there is absolutely a point that maybe you shouldn't have to ask for help. The fact that you're doing all of it, maybe he should be like, hey, let me help you. I'm noticing that you're doing a lot, and maybe it hurts that that's not being acknowledged, and I see that, and I hear that, and I would understand that. But if people aren't coming to that realization themselves, we can't punish people for things that they don't know they're doing wrong, right? That's why it's really important to share how we feel with our loved ones. And I think it feeds into something that I've had past experiences where I've seen people do this, people constantly being disappointed because they're like, oh, I just wish you would have known to do this thing for me. But if people don't know, people don't know. People are not mind readers. Our minds and our brains don't work the same way. It really irks me that there's like this idea, I don't exactly know where it came from, but it's typically women that I see a lot. And it's reinforced by shorts on TikTok, right? Where people are like, oh, my husband knew to do this wonderful thing for me. How amazing. One, they're mostly fabricated. Two, I just don't think we should be enforcing this idea that anybody should know what you want without you expressing it. Just because you say, hey, I would really like it if maybe we spent some more time doing date night activities. And then you do a date night activity. That should not mean any less than if your partner was to come up and just be like, hey, date night activity, because how they're feeling and how you're feeling may be different. The amount of stuff going on in your life might be completely different. The lens and the priorities and the viewpoints that you have in the specific moments in time that you're having them are entirely different. And it just shouldn't be a reflection of your merit as a person if you've not been given the opportunity to understand that somebody wants something. It's a really big niggle of mine. Let's finish reading. I'm sorry to digress and unpack so much on the way, but I'm just sharing my opinions. I'm not his mum, says OP, yes. And that's what I'm saying. I don't expect you to be his mum, but at the same time you should let him know that you're annoyed, because it is a reality that when you're in a relationship you fall into these roles. And if it's been ingrained, which it seems to have been, that for 9 days you've made dinner and for many of these days you are doing the lunches and the breakfasts, why would he know now? Why would anybody know now that you're wanting to change it if you've not communicated it? It's not a sign of being a mum that you give people dinner. I cook dinner every single day and I don't ever see that as me being my husband's mum. It's just part of the relationship. And then Jamie cleans the house every single day. He washes up every single day. He does my laundry. That doesn't make me feel like he's my mum or dad. You know what I mean? I just think we need to be a bit careful with patronizing terms when we haven't communicated. Communication is key. But as a partner, if I'm making a meal and can make him a meal too, I almost always do. If I don't, it's some basic shit like an egg. But it's not my duty. I feel like his actions were incredibly inconsiderate, childish, and game playing. He literally intentionally snuck out of the house, and I think he should be more appreciative of me, period. He thinks that I'm having a meltdown. We spoke in raised voices for about 2 to 3 minutes. It ended with him telling me that I and my whole family are bipolar. Whoa, I am not, and I have a sister who is, and that he is tired of my bullshit, and I didn't respond. Am I the asshole, or is he? Everybody sucks here. That is my badge. I say it with conviction. Everybody sucks here. I think your husband sucks more, if I'm being very honest, especially because that last comment, whoa. And if he did intentionally rush out, like if it wasn't that he ordered something in, or if he just went out and you just didn't happen to hear him because you're in a different part of the house. Sometimes like what we feel and what's actually been done can be different things, and that doesn't mean that any of them are any less like valid a feeling or action. My point is, it could be that he was just like, fine, I'm gonna get myself food because you didn't get me food. I'm gonna make myself a Starbucks because there is no egg. Like, I don't want something else. I wanted that. I'm feeling hurt. I'm doing that. And he just left the house and went to do it without any kind of sneaking. And you've gone, oh my God, he snuck out. He's betrayed me. He's lost the streak that I had of wanting to do meals at home. He's playing games. Maybe in some ways he is. Do you see what I mean? Like, you're both right to be feeling how you're feeling, and that's the clincher, right? I think he should be more appreciative of me, period. I agree. I totally agree. And if you'd led with that, and if you'd said, hey, I would like an egg, so I'm gonna make this egg, but going forward, can you please be more appreciative because look at how much I'm doing? That could have gone a very different way. If he then said, oh, you're bipolar, how dare you, rah 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 rah, then you would definitely not have been the drama. But I think because of that lack of communication, I definitely feel like it's an everybody sucks here, with you being less of the drama than your husband. This bipolar comment though, oh my gosh, my only hesitation, maybe he did see this as you were like totally exploding on him with emotion, still doesn't make it right for him to feel like he can throw around a medical diagnosis like that. The only time that I could see that being in any way sort of excusable is if it's discussions that you've had before. So if, for example, from your sister who's saying your sister does have bipolar, if you guys have spoken about it and you've been like, I wonder if that's something that I have too, and maybe this is like an ongoing thing where perhaps you exhibit signs and your husband's just chosen this is a really insensitive and stupid moment to bring it up. But no, that was totally the drama of him. I'm really hoping that you guys are able to work it through. I think it's so clear to me that both of you have done wrong and you just need to communicate better. I also feel like the action points in this are quite like, maybe I'm just too optimistic and naive, but quite cute. You guys could create like this little cooking rota. You can like have fun making things together. I actually really enjoy like cooking time. I mean, I don't mind cooking. I don't love cooking, but I really love spending time with Jamie, and quite often our time in the kitchen at the end of a day is the time that we can like chat and hang out. I'll cook, he'll clean. It's fun. I love the fact that we can do it together. And I'm really hoping that there's like a world in which you two can come to that compromise and you can just be like, look, I was hurting because this happened, and then you went and got freaking Starbucks, and let's be real, you'd be wanting that food too, you know? Takeaway food is always deemed better because you haven't had to work for it, so I get you're hurt. I feel like we're going around in circles. I'm going to stop discussing it. What do you think, Peaches? Do you agree? Let me know, get your juicy butts downstairs in the comment section. Just remember to be kind. It's fine if we disagree. Just be kind. Let's see what other people have to say. Ooh, not the drama. And someone said that this would have them speaking with a divorce lawyer to be called bipolar. I personally feel like that's like very brash without knowing the context. Like if it was something totally out of the blue, I'd understand. I guess I'm kind of feeling like because of that sister's experience, there could be more to that conversation. But I do totally agree with this. This is not how a person speaks to their partner or someone they claim to love. We should be using kind words, absolutely, with our partners. And this was a huge boo-boo. This is a very big drama of your husband. It was not okay for him to do that. And especially not in this situation. But I do really want to highlight this point of this isn't how you speak to somebody that you love. And it's something that's been playing on my mind a lot recently. Seeing people get very bitter and angry and say things that they don't necessarily mean. I understand that it's coming from a hurtful place. And maybe this is why it's like giving me a softer approach. Perhaps when judging this one, we're all influenced by our own biases, of course. But as a reminder, if you do really love someone, just remember how you're speaking to them and how you should be speaking to them. You can absolutely communicate hurt and you can communicate upset, and you can do it in a way that isn't horrible. You don't need to hurt to communicate hurt. That's what I'm trying to say. Everybody sucks here, says someone else. You are both not communicating and getting mad at each other. If you feel he should be more appreciative, say that. Actually talk about this. I wholeheartedly agree with this. And also, couple of points to mention, bit of a red flag if he was blocking your office door, and certainly a huge dick move for calling you bipolar. Not okay. But yes, communicate. Healthy communication will make all of this go away. If you both feel like you want to, of course. Those are my thoughts. Oh my goodness. This has been a spicy one, right? It's not just me. This is feeling particularly spicy. All right, should we do another? Sure. Am I the drama for criticizing my daughter's dress style? I'm a 49-year-old woman and I have a daughter, 17. The thing is though, she dresses too young for her age. She's 17. Too young. Interesting. I don't know, like maybe this is ageist of me, but I would expect someone to say she's dressing too old for her age at the age of 17, or I'd expect someone who was like 30 and above to be told that they're dressing like glam, you know, like too young. So I'm intrigued. Okay. I've tried correcting her time and time again, but she just likes the style that she currently has. She says that she looks young for her age, so if she wears things that makes her look older, she'll look like a slutty 10-year-old whose parents don't care about her. Okay, this is interesting. Previously, I've gotten annoyed with my daughter over this, and I exclaimed to her, dress your age. My daughter's gotten upset over this and has even cried, but personally, I think she's being pathetic. Okay. She's even said that other mums would be so happy for their daughters to be like her instead of dressing provocatively, and that I'm lucky, and I've told her that I would encourage her and support her if she was 13, not 15. I'm also aware that she looks about 12, but I tell her that she looks 17 even though everyone else assumes that she's 12, even when she dresses older, because I don't want to indulge her. I get the impression that she's a bit too comfortable with looking young. Previously, when she's asked me why I'm so opposed, I said that everybody needs to dress according to their age. I'm getting a lot of red flags from this OP, I'm not gonna lie. I told her, for example, if it looks okay for an old woman to show too much skin, even though she says it's a free country and old women can do whatever they want, she's just being difficult. I continued with telling her that it's not okay for a 17-year-old to look 12. This kind of language feels like a conversation that I would have with somebody 2 generations up who are just not getting it and who will just never get it, and it boils my blood. Why are you saying that older women can't show skin? What is wrong with you? It's 2024, dude. We don't have these opinions anymore. Not because it's about level of skin, but because you're trying to impose your judgments on other people instead of letting them wear whatever the frick they want to wear. If your daughter doesn't want to dress provocatively, she's right. I feel like a lot of parents would not mind that. It's a little bit weird for you to be like insisting that your 17-year-old dresses more provocatively. And then you're even saying that even when she does, she still looks 12 to you. And then you're calling her pathetic when she's crying. Like, what? These are like super bad parenting moves. We'll finish reading. I've tried to tell her subtly. Doesn't sound very subtle. For example, when we go to church and we're heading out the door, I've previously said remarks like, you look 10, or get changed, aren't you embarrassed? You are giving your daughter the biggest self-esteem issue and the biggest complex. But even when I make the most subtle remarks, e.g. you look 10, that's not subtle, babe. OP? That's not subtle. She's gotten upset at my tone and says that I'm just making unnecessary digs at her. So am I the drama for treating my daughter like this, and should I be grateful that she's innocent? Yes, you are the drama. You shouldn't be grateful or ungrateful of the fact that she looks innocent, because clothes do not indicate anything more about a person than the way and style that they want to express. Suggesting that it does is what leads to old white men in judges' clothes telling people that they asked for it. Like, no. People wear what they want to wear. We don't judge people for wearing what they want to wear. It's as simple as that. The fact that you're even using terms like slutty suggests to me that you're stuck in like a societal stigma point of view where you just feel really restricted, and a need to be super compliant with these rules of how like clothes need to be, that women need to wear pink and men need to wear blue, like these really arbitrary rules that just make you sad. Dude, just wear what you want to wear. Let your daughter wear what she wants to wear. She's 17. As long as she's being functional, she's not like gonna go out and get hypothermia from wearing too little clothes, then honestly, to me, I just don't understand. And yes, I definitely think that there is an element of being respectful, you know, like making sure that you're not dressing inappropriately. But this is not at all what is happening. But by inappropriate, that could be in so many different ways. Like for a cultural context, for a building or an institutional context, there are many ways in which, you know, like maybe don't wear beach shorts to a job interview. You know, these are the kind of things that we should be instilling, and society rules that we should be communicating as like, you know, being a thing, as opposed to trying to like literally making your child cry and saying things like, oh, you're embarrassed, you look 10, and expecting her to not be annoyed because that's a subtle remark. You are the biggest drama. You are so the drama. I hope you become a better parent. That is all I can say. Are other people as pissed off as I am here? You are the drama. What makes you think that you're not? To let her dress how she wants. She's not walking around in a diaper and holding a bottle. yes to this. I don't think I'm the drama, says OP, because I'm trying to guide her correctly. Well, if you come onto a forum to ask for help and then someone's saying to you, hey, this isn't how you should do it, and you're like, well, I don't think I'm the drama because of this. Like, why are you here? You are not expanding your own mindset. You're not even trying to be a little bit open to understanding other people's views. It sounds to me like, unfortunately, this is just a mum that's not going to change. I feel very sorry for this person's child. I just think this whole situation is really weird. Wow. OP, I really hope that something soaks through because you need it. Woof! All right, one more. This is spicy. This is a spicy episode. Spoof. Am I the drama for switching doctors because I couldn't understand his accent? I feel like I'm getting a headache from just how, like, incomprehensible some of these things are. Whoa. What is happening to people? It's not just me, right? This is like an intense episode. Oh. A few months ago, says OP, I was talking to my cousin about needing to find a new doctor. My cousin's a nurse and recommended that I come to her office. She said all the doctors there were great, but that the doctor she works with is the nicest guy ever and has great bedside manner, which is exactly what I wanted. Cool. Just waiting for the racist bit to come in after the whole, like, accent thing. Let's see. So I made an appointment with them and I saw him a second time for a follow-up, and he's a very, very nice man. However, he has a very heavy accent and have a lot of trouble understanding him. For context, I have severe tinnitus and have difficulty hearing people anyways. I feel like I spend half the appointment asking him to repeat himself. Interesting. Is there any other information about, like, who you are, what the accent is, what the race is? Because obviously I think we're all feeling very geared towards this being like a racially motivated something. Let's read on. So a few days ago, when I needed to go to the doctor again, I made the appointment with a different doctor at the same office. My cousin saw me there and called later to ask why I hadn't seen her doctor, and I told her the truth, that I had too much trouble understanding him, and she went off on me. She called me racist. She said I was a bigot who wanted to take opportunities away from immigrants, and now I'm wondering if I was in the wrong, and if so, I'd like to correct my behaviour. So, was I the drama? Interesting. Oh, all right, I need to think about this one for a second. Think out loud, Shaaba. Think out loud. Yeah, okay. Look, people have accents. Everybody has an accent. If it's an accent that you don't understand, I'm thinking that is something that you can get used to, and it doesn't actually, accents don't need to be correlated to any sort of racial treatment. I'll give you an example. My husband, the wonderful Jamie, shout out to Jamie, he is wonderful, is Scottish, and his family is Scottish. And when I first met his family, I didn't have the foggiest idea what his dad was saying to me for the longest time. But at least the first, like, 3 times I met him, I'd just be like looking at Jamie, and Jamie would be like, say yes, say no, he's asking you this, and I'd be like, It's funny looking back at it now, and it totally wasn't a racist thing. It's just I wasn't used to the accent. However, I quickly became used to the accent. And that is not the only example of where I haven't heard an accent and then I've gotten used to an accent. Working in offices, I've spoken to people who have very thick accents, very heavy accents, and you do slowly get used to them. I'm sure my accent might be difficult for some people. I don't know. I feel like I'm, like, trying to now think a lot about my voice, and I don't know if my voice is changing, and it's really weird.
Stop thinking about your own voice, Shaaba. Wow.
The other part of me, however, is saying, especially if you have tinnitus, if you have any kind of hearing problem, I can understand why you'd want to make things easier, and having an accent that you can understand and not having to do that extra sort of, like, brain work. I get that. Also, you don't see his doctor as often as I was seeing my now in-laws. Do you know what I mean? So there might be that there's actually not a lot of opportunity for you to get used to whatever the doctor's accent might be. And I also feel like from the way that you're talking now, like, you're saying you're on the forum because you want to know, right? And you have said that you want to correct your behavior if you are doing something wrong, and you're not using language that you would often see from a racist person. Do you know what I mean? My POC dar isn't going off and being like, whoop, 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 high alert. So I really don't think that you're intentionally being racist. My question is this unconscious bias? Is that how this makes it wrong? And I honestly don't know the answer to that. I kind of feel like maybe it is. I don't want to call you the drama. I'm going to say no drama here, because I really don't think that you are being the drama, and I see that your intentions are not in any way racially motivated. However, I do agree with your friend that if somebody has an accent, like, it doesn't mean that they're bad at their job. And I don't know, I feel like there's more of a requirement when you understand that there's some potential unconscious bias going on to try and combat that. Like, if I had gone to Jamie, oh, you know what, I can't understand your dad, I'm never going to understand your dad. We're different people, we come from different backgrounds, I don't get it, I'm just going to leave it. You can speak to your dad and I just won't speak to your dad. That would not feel fantastic, right? It feels like I'm not trying to make an effort. And especially if you can say things like, I am hard of hearing, I need help, perhaps having, like, somebody else in the room to help, to be like, I don't understand. Even saying things like, I don't understand you properly, is there a way that we can make this easier? Like, that would be better than just switching doctors and being like, I give up on you. I think that's where like the POC-ness uncomfortable bit is still sitting within me. Don't think you're racist. I do think there's a level of unconscious bias. I do think there were other things that you could have done to get around the issue in a way that may have been better, and also in a way that would have like benefited everybody. I'm sure the doctor would want to know that you are feeling that there is an obstacle in terms of communication, and that's something that the doctor could hopefully improve on in some way, or at least know about to make it a worthwhile communication exchange, because this doctor's going to be speaking to a lot of people. It doesn't mean that they're bad at their job in any way, but it's absolutely something that they should be aware of if it's become an obstacle, as it clearly has here, at least to you, you know? And there's absolutely a way, right, in which to do it. It's not to be like, I don't understand your accent and I need you to know that I don't understand your accent. That would be incredibly rude. But if somebody said, like I have said in the past, sorry, would you mind repeating that? I'm really sorry. I'm really wanting to understand what you're saying. That's not a bad thing. I kind of feel like it's nicer to attempt to hear what somebody's saying, because at the end of the day, these people are skilled. He's a skilled doctor for a reason, and his accent doesn't make him a bad doctor. So I would feel like a way to combat my unconscious bias would be to find a way to understand. And as I said, this is coming from my experience of quickly overcoming the ability to understand an accent. Because when you're exposed to something enough, you will learn it. You will understand it. Maybe you just need to talk louder and slower, which I'm sure he'd have to do because you're a person with tinnitus anyway, regardless of whether he had an accent or not. I think that's my viewpoint. I do think that your cousin, by the way, came down on you way too hard. I don't think that you're a bigot. I don't think you want to take opportunities away from immigrants. But I do understand where your cousin's coming from, in the sense that it's not sitting quite right, with it not being an issue of stigma at all, and especially so now that in my mind I can correlate that with an experience that isn't to do with race. You know, like my thing is talking about a white guy, and we don't know actually like what this person's race is. It hasn't been specified. Yeah, interesting, really interesting. Ooh, I'd love to know your thoughts on this one, Peaches. Please do let me know. I'm gonna ask Jamie too. Somebody has asked here, have you ever said anything anti-immigrant or bigoted to your cousin? And Opie has said never. Growing up, my parents taught me about the existence of bigotry from a young age, how wrong it is. They've made sure that I was consciously aware of how my behaviour affects others. Absolutely, like I don't have a shred of me that feels like you are being intentionally racist, Opie. It's just a very interesting situation where I do think unconscious bias comes into play. I guess the question is, if it was a French man who was white, right, who had a thick accent, or a Scottish man like my in-law who had a thick Scottish accent, would you also change? That would be the question to fully understand if it is unconscious bias. But if you are having to change because somebody can't communicate, I think that's an issue with the organisation, right, where the communication should be fixed so that patients and doctors can understand each other, as opposed to you moving and not removing opportunities, but, you know, not allowing that person to practice what they do, like their skilled training for a living, which they absolutely deserve to be doing. Feeling very good with my insight into this one. I'm feeling very solid with what I'm saying. Not the drama, says someone else. You need to be able to communicate well with your healthcare provider, and your tinnitus already makes that more challenging for you. You didn't try to get the doctor removed from the practice, you switched to a provider that works better for you. I do hear this person. I see this as an insight. I think where my head then goes afterwards is, if this is the case, if everybody did that because they didn't take time to understand someone's accent, that would be a problem. That person would not have any patience. And if we then had to get rid of everybody who had an accent, we would be, one, unfairly getting rid of a lot of people's jobs because of how they've grown up, which is no reflection or indication of how good they are at their job. And also, whilst I totally appreciate the point of tinnitus, I appreciate the fact that your disability in this sense, right, means that you need additional resource, but living in an equitable world and a world without discrimination would mean that you should feel safe enough to be able to request that resource from anybody, regardless of whether they have an accent or not. For me, this principle here, and I'm not trying to go down the slippery slope analysis, but what I'm saying here is, if you can't communicate well with people because of their accent, you shouldn't be integrating with anybody, because your local policeman could have an accent, the person at the shops could have an accent, your postman could have an accent. We work through it. We don't use that as an opportunity to not work with people. We just put in some more effort to understand people better, which I'm sure as somebody with a disability you do anyway. I'm really interested in this one. I'm trying really hard to see if what I'm saying is in any way ableist. I'm not seeing it, but I am absolutely going to have a chat with some of my friends and try and look online for some information too about this, because I do think it's a really nuanced situation and I'd be interested to see if there is a side there that I'm missing. Very happy to learn if that is the case. But speaking as a person of colour, I do feel like I'm sitting right with what I'm saying, if that makes sense. Oh, not the drama, you wouldn't be the drama even if you weren't hard of hearing. And this is where I think unconscious bias comes in. Hello, this is Shaaba from the future. I know I look the same as because I've literally just finished the video, gone to have a chat with Jamie, gone to speak to a friend, gone to look online, and I'm back just to update you a little bit. Speaking with Jamie, I feel like it's useful to bring in some extra points. One, some points that I found useful from Jamie. He mentioned that my nan has a very strong accent, which of course I know, I just forgot in the moment, and that it took a couple of times to get used to it, but he can always understand what she's saying. Yes, you need to focus a little bit more, but you can understand her still, and that he has had doctor's appointments, and so have I, to be fair, but like interacted with a bunch of people with very strong accents who are both people of colour and not people of colour, and never has he not been able to understand what was being said. There's a difference between finding things harder and literally not understanding what's being said, and there's a difference between having to say like, sorry, could you repeat that, and sorry, could you be a bit slower with how you're talking, versus I don't understand what you're saying, which is a very fantastic point that I didn't initially think of myself. So important to put that there. However, also recognizing that it's a very individual situation. If you are hard of hearing, you don't know, right? Two, also spoke to a friend who's also hard of hearing, who mentioned that they agree in the sense that I don't think that there is like a drama badge that can specifically be given without understanding the context of just how much OP can hear and the measures that they need, but also said that there have been occasions where there have been people with accents and it can be harder to lip read, and lip reading is not something that I initially thought of, but again has never like once crossed their mind to change as a result. To ask for additional support, yes, but to not change a provider because of that reason, which is really interesting. And then three, points that I found on the internet, on the forum, not a single person has said anything other than no drama here. And that is really interesting to me, because that's not the badge that I've given, that's not the badge that my friend's given, that's not the badge that Jamie's given. And I definitely feel like the responses of some people like this may not come from a racist place, like a consciously racist place, but are definitely coming from a place of unconscious bias. But also interesting, a point that I haven't thought of with my British lens, a lot of these people are also coming from an American point of view, where healthcare is paid for. So you have a lot more choice and opportunity, which I don't here in the UK. Like when you have a doctor, you have a doctor, you go to a GP practice based on your area most of the time. Yes, you can move, but it's not often that you do that, and you don't pay for it, so it's not a service in the same way that it is in the States. I don't know why that makes it different. I think it does make it different because this sense of like rapport building and the competition that comes from having a privatized healthcare system does change the context. That is why it's different, but just another important point to note. I would love to hear from other people who may be hard of hearing, what you might think about the situation. As I said, I'll continue to say, please just be kind. It's very useful to have a lot of opinions. Just because you disagree with someone doesn't mean that it's wrong. We're all coming at them with our own lenses and we can still learn a lot from each other. So yes, just thought that little update was useful. Gonna leave you for the rest of the video now. Bye. Alright peaches, I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm really hoping we can continue this discussion downstairs. Meanwhile, if you would like to give this video a thumbs up, please do subscribe if you'd like to see more. Remember to just be kind in the comments, and remember that our gorgeous little friend Surfshark is here to help you too. You can take a look at the link downstairs in the description box along with the code. Get a VPN, it's totally worth it, babes. I'll catch you next time with another video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye.